Another night for the entire All Elite crew, and they're going head to head with NXT 2, and they've got an overrun to show what they can do. Another night for the entire All Elite crew. I'm Charles Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite Tittle Tuesday. Perky tittles going up in our face and everything, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, no, it's Title Tuesday. I kid. Bet you didn't expect a real McCoy reference to start this show. Run away to save your life. That's right. I know 90s songs that really only the oldest of people will remember. I don't even know if anybody watching this show will get that. That being said, yeah, this was quite the show. Head-to-head with NXT because it got moved due to sports. Damn foosball and everything. The sports ball's the devil. That being said, they load up this show, and also NXT defended their home turf and loaded up with a whole bunch of stars. Check out my review of that. I'm not going to talk about what they did head-to-head. I will say that both shows went commercial-free for the first 30 minutes. In the case of Dynamite, it was more like about 48 to 50. Warner Bros. Discovery said, well, goddamn it, we got to move this stuff. We've invested quite a bit of money in your product, Tony Khan, so damn it, give us a good show. You know what? There were some good parts to this show. So they were in Independence Day, Missouri, at the Cable Jeffrey Dahmer Arena. Man, it's like that movie Body Parts. Who remembers that horror movie Body Parts where a guy got like a body part from a serial killer and that started to take over? It made no sense. The late 80s, early 90s. What the fuck were you like for horror? So, 3,600 people according to WrestleTix around that, and it was in a 5,800 seat capacity venue. If it was a 58 seat capacity venue, they would have been packed like goddamn sardines. And Christian is in the production truck and talks about Swerve and Danielson competing for the right to face him on Collision. The main event with his old friend Adam Copeland against the Dinosaur. The production team is shockingly calm here, with a strange turtleneck-wearing individual just there. And what the hell is going on? So, he announces the 30 minutes ad-free, if not more. And we have Danielson versus Swerve and referee Aubrey as the referee. And man, we have just got a ton of Washington flavor here. Contenders match, winner faces Christian Cage on a Collision. And I will say this much about Collision. They are certainly trying to hype it up as much as they can. It's going to be competing against various sports and sometimes UFC pay-per-views and WWE premium live events. And there are crossover fans, believe it or not. But 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Adjust your cocks accordingly. That's an hour early for those that aren't math majors. Both guys can work. And Swerve, I've seen him have incredible matches on indie shows. That being said, when he works with veterans, it works better. He can have great matches with Darby and other people, but sometimes they dissolve into the spot fests, and I've seen it firsthand, even though I love Swerve. And the crowd was into it. They were into both. They got more into Danielson a little bit later on, even though smaller venue, and I think they should run some smaller venues. In fact, if they ever come back to Washington State, I don't know why they would for anything other than a pay-per-view, because between the pay-per-view and Collision, they barely drew 10,000 people, and they got nearly that for the first Dynamite on January 4th. First Dynamite they ran here. They should run a show in Everett at the, I think, Angel of the Winds Arena. I think that's still the sponsor for the Everett Arena. That's where they ran a Raw back just before SummerSlam 2014 that I actually went to. And I think I was on the floor for that one. It's about 10,000 seats, and if they just use about 7,000 of that, they have a better chance of having a better atmosphere. Nevertheless, Danielson got his arm targeted. Swerve was grinding him down, doing some good stuff. Excalibur did have one miscue, though, where he said Danielson grew up in Aberdeen, Washington, which is a couple hours east of Seattle. Take the mask off and learn to read a Maps app. Seriously, what the hell is wrong with you? Just read that. No, it's not. Were you looking at the map upside down all around? Come on, defense work. Here's how it is for those that aren't Washingtonians, those who have never been to Washington State, or those who live in Washington State and have never been to Aberdeen. And if you've never been to Aberdeen, you're fortunate. Because nothing against Aberdeen and the people that live there, but besides a nice, shopping complex, that was nice, by the way, about 11 or 12 years ago when I went there. Basically, you end up going about 60 miles south, 60 to almost 65 miles south, depending on, what part of Seattle you're going through, because Seattle actually starts at about exit 173 on I-5 and then goes to about exit 163. You go through Tukwila, you go through Fife, you go through Tacoma, and you want to go through Tacoma, and then you get down to Olympia, which is the capital, by the way, of Washington State, for those that don't know. And then you get exit 106, exit 10, like just after exit 106, depending, there's a couple exits for Olympia. You turn off that, and you can get on State Highway 101, and you go down that for about another 50 miles until you get to Aberdeen, and then you see the shopping complex, and you go right back to the 1950s, not just with architecture, with ideological beliefs. Believe me, there are some backwoodsy motherfuckers there until you get to Ocean Shores, which is a nice resort deal. Anyway, yeah, it's not east. It's west. Fuck. I know that shouldn't bother me, but Jesus fucking Christ, somebody should have corrected him, except Taz probably hasn't been to Washington State much, and I don't think Shivani cared. I like Excalibur, do not get me wrong, but that just irked me. If you can't tell the difference, like if you were going to Ellensburg, that's east, and nobody wants to go to Ellensburg. People in Ellensburg don't want to go to Ellensburg. Everybody that is a Washingtonian is hating me or loving me in the comments right now. So, Swerve focuses on the arm, and, we get a diving knee off the apron to a pop. Swerve cutting him off on a dive. Good stuff. Then we get an apron stomp. Why? We get a nice heel hook. Oh, wait, hook's not out there. A nice back suplex, almost an angle slam variation. And then the bell lock, arm trap. Swerve gets to the ropes. And then another stomp for 2. A driver for 2. Nana distracts. Swerve's going to use the crown like he did to beat Hangman. Speaking of Hangman, here's Hangman. Takes that away. And then the Bukkake knee. 1, 2, 3. I know that's not what it's called, but it's funny. He just gives it to him right in the face. 1, 2, 3. And then they tie in the story a little bit later on. If they could just do more tying in of stories and advancing of stories, Dynamite might become a more cohesive program, but then Tony Khan would have to get his face out of the nose candy, or whatever he uses to book a bunch of goddamn shows instead of having other people help him. That being said, good start. Cut to a Samoa Joe package. Evidently, he either stayed in the same suit or they recorded this and then forgot, shit, it's in the can, we need to post this. He is going to eat, and he is going to rise back to the top. Hobbs versus Jericho, still ad-free, and Callis was around, and Jericho got a few flurries in, but got hit with 6 spinebusters, did hit a code breaker during this. Did get the walls of Jericho on. Hobbs fought out, and then we got 2 World's Strongest Slam variations, 1, 2, 3, and then a third afterwards. So Hobbs, in about 7 minutes, destroying fucking Jericho. Good. This is what they should have been doing with Hobbs a couple years ago. But it's progress. I mean, it's working with goddamn Callis, but nevertheless. Back to Roddy's house. Adam Cole's doing yard work and lawn work and mowing while on the cart and doing this, and I hate it. I'm sorry. Adam! See, that part's funny. That part's funny for me to share with a few friends and everything, but Adam, I'm sorry. This brings it right back down to bad comedy, and I don't think this isn't working like I think they wanted to. So, by the way, there's no cell service and no TVs because Roddy says the TV is the devil. Apparently he's Kathy Bates from Waterboy. Also, why is the camera crew there filming it if TV is the devil? You had logic. I know I'm probably applying too much logic to this, but fuck. Then Phoenix took on Orange Cassidy because Moxley was not medically cleared. I would have to go to Independence, Missouri. Badass. Can't help it. Hear it. Anyway, so yeah, Cassidy won the belt back. And celebrated with confetti. So there we go. Black and white Tony Storm setting. Where she pitches to a silent movie. This is where they take a break. So they show the picture-in-picture. Tony looks fucking incredible. God damn, she looks great. Has this perfect movie star quality about her. And they do that during the break, and then we come back and Wardlow beats Matt Sydal via referee stoppage and leaves through the crowd. And I think he's eventually going to leave and walk right into the PC in Orlando. I would be very amazed if Wardlow did not leave because they don't know what the fuck to do with him. So, he's a lot. He can do whatever the fuck he wants to do. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if he left. So, Jericho couldn't make it to the medical trainer's room. Daniel Garcia goes to check on him. 1 of 2.0 says, what are we doing? And there we go. And now Hangman versus Jay White. Oh my god. Former Bullet Club. Was Hangman ever in Bullet Club? I genuinely can't remember if Hangman was. I don't care, but I mean, why were Bullet Club Gold on bikes? There was nothing wrong with this match. There was a nice fall-away slam off the top. Some good work. I just don't care about either of these guys. Hangman is ice fucking cold now. We get 2 ad breaks. Nana shows up at the Crown, ends up hitting Hangman. So tying that story in, advancing this Swerve Hangman thing, that's fine. And a roll-up 1, 2, 3. And then, MJF comes out. This got a lot of people talking and not for good reason. And I will explain in a little bit how I felt. He wants a title back. And how he's tried to be better. He hates himself for trying to be better, but goddammit, he has to. Jay is a lot like him. Will use people to get what he wants. Jay also needs to surround himself with more interesting people to not seem bland, because I'm sorry, I'm never going to live long enough for Jay White to be interesting to me. I'm just not going to. It's not that he can't work. It's not even that he's bad on the mic. He's just not great on the mic. He is tofu, as MJF said. The Full Gear match is on. Jay talks and gets booed and shut the fuck up chants, and they can't bleep that. They managed to not bleep one shit from MJF, but then they bleep a shit and something else. So he got really fired up. And MJF keeps firing up and says, well, this championship is my life along with being friends with Adam Cole. This took a bit is what I noted. And I get why it took a bit. They could have cut this in half. At least some of this. Because Jay went a little bit long. And MJF did go a little bit long. But MJF's at least good on the mic to make it work. They could have easily had another match here. Another squash match or something. But Jay says you don't have any friends. Cole's out injured. So if you can find 3 guys, you can take on the Gangbang Gang. I think that's what they're called. And then Juice gets on the mic. This is where everybody got pissed. He says, we're going to have another Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal, and the winner of that faces you. I think he said on the 25th. I think it's going to be on 25th. So, Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal next week. Winner faces MJF for the ring. And you know what? Juice winning it actually would be a good thing, because MJF's won it 4 years in a row. There's nothing wrong with having Juice win it here. But he has a little present for him. It's a roll of quarters with his name on it. And because he's broken people's jaws before, he's going to hit him. He's going to do that. And MJF got pissed, fired up, and left. Now, I know that there are people that... how do I put this? Anybody that was Jewish or anybody that, that felt hate because of this, I'm not going to fault anybody. And I'm not Jewish, I'm not any kind of religion or whatever, so I don't blame people that feel upset by this. And you have the Israel and Palestinian stuff going on, and you have the anti-Semitism going on, and MJF has referred to that of, pick up the quarters, J-boy. Not going to say the slur. Don't say it here. But, so I get why people are offended. Me personally, I wasn't, but Juice has used this before. He has used a roll of quarters to knock people out. Now, yes, the connotation of having a Jewish man's name on a roll of quarters after MJF has said what he said, I get why people are upset. And I don't blame people for being offended. Juice did not mean anything by this. Probably was like, are you okay with this, Max? Are you sure we should do this? Tony Khan probably does bear some of the blame for, like, maybe we shouldn't have done this with all the stuff going on, between Israel and Palestine and all that. And I'm not giving my opinion on that dog in the fight beyond saying that any innocent people in either you know, in either side of the conflict do not deserve to die over it. That much I'll say. That's all I'm gonna fucking say about that. I'm not, and if you wanna sound off a little bit in the comments, you can be respectful, but I'm not picking no side of nothing. I don't want any innocent people taken out. I get why people are upset. I wasn't, but I did also say, that probably wasn't the best idea given the current landscape of world events. And MJF has turned this into something where he is going to stand up for Jewish hate, do all this, and you know what? Great. It gets a shot in the arm. It's just, you're treading close to the line here because they got rid of Gina Carano for being Gina fucking Carano and a bunch of other anti-Semitic stuff. So maybe take it a little easy. Take it a little easy, Tony. What do you want to bet the EVPs, though, the Bucks, given their beliefs, probably, maybe said, hey, Tony, why don't you do this? It'll be funny. Just blue sky in it there. Speaking of which, I'm on the site Blue Sky under Reborn Again. -- Blue Sky Social. You can check me out there. So once Twitter X goes tits up, I'll be using Blue Sky more. So I can see why people were upset. And that's what I'm going to say right there. Back to the review. So, the second act of Tony's movie was during the break, and then Saraya, defender of abusers, took on Sheeta, and Ruby was banned from ringside, except she was a crew member there. It's for the AEW Women's Championship. Saraya's been a waste of money, is what I noted. Ruby shows up as a stagehand, but that should have been an automatic, disqualification or automatic, something, and Saraya should have lost the time, but whatever. She gets sprayed in the face. Tony hits her with a shoe, and then they fight through the arena, and then we go to break. Then we get an apron bump, and Saraya folds. Not the first time she's folded on camera. I would feel bad about saying that, except she doesn't deserve respect. And then later, more spray. But Sheeta kicks out, holy Sheeta chant, and roll-ups. And then a third roll-up basically wins it. Sheeta is a 3-time women's champion. More confetti. So good. Saraya isn't champion anymore. Shouldn't have been champion in the first place. I get why they went with that. And Freddie Mercury's ghost was raging at the usage of his song for a transphobic defender. But, that being said, Sheeta is a 3-time champion. And then Rampage and Collision rundowns. And then Callis and Takeshita do the flashcard thing for Sammy Guevara. Sammy is returning to television. I'm very sorry to hear that. Renee's with MJF. He calls Cole. It's a bad signal. And MJF is upset. Where is Kyle O'Reilly? Get Kyle O'Reilly back there. Except the Acclaimed and Billy show up. Max Caster offers Maxwell Jacob Friedman, their services. And then Billy's like, what is your deal? Don't offer our services without consulting us. And what is your obsession with this guy? Oh, we've been friends for a while. We wrestled, together for a while. And I like when he plays hard to get. Because Caster has sent messages and tweets to MJF. And I'm pretty certain it's a work, I hope. Bit weird. But nevertheless, we think it Christian Luchasaurus. He eventually gets to the point, but this is one of the rare misses for his promo because the Chiefs have won a championship recently, and so he knocked the championship of the particular area. Didn't really work. And then his story with Adam, and that he's everyone's father. I'm your daddy now. And then Copeland runs down and then gets taken out by Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus. And then Luchasaurus and Copeland have a match where Luchasaurus battles him for a while. Christian's sitting on the stage. They go to the break. Steps get brought out. Steps get utilized a little bit later where there's a step spring spear. And then Christian gets up on the apron a little bit later on. I'm rushing through some of this stuff because the match was what it was. Christian gets the title taken away from him. Copeland hits Luchasaurus while Nick Wayne has the referee distracted. They made Nick Wayne look foolish, but Nick Wayne's not foolish. That's just how they made him look. And then Copeland, I'm trying not to say that, tosses the title back to Christian Cage. And then Luchasaurus is upset. And eventually spear, 1, 2, 3. And then a beatdown where Danielson, the BCC, the Gates of Agony, Hangman Swerve, and popcorn vendors and cotton candy vendors, and everybody shows up, and everybody get in here, and we'll see you this Saturday for the Collision Rumble. Yeah, that was it for AEW Dynamite Tittle Tuesday. So there you go. There were parts of the show that were good, mostly cohesive. Some issues, I can't leave some things well enough alone. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retland. I'll see you soon.